The last couple of issues: regularly give positive feedback. Young people love positive strokes, incredibly important. Don't remind them of their past mistakes. Very few people in this audience can put their hands up and say they never made a mistake as a teenager. We do that all the time. Parents are terrible archaeologists. They're always digging up the past. And most importantly, talk while doing something together. Cars are great. You're doing 100k, they can't get out. They are subjected to you. And lastly, let some things go by you. Do not comment on everything. No one elected you, Laurie Oakes. Shut up sometimes. The other thing that's key, many parents say, my child's so grumpy. Well, they're grumpy because they haven't had enough sleep. The reality is we know quite a bit about sleep now. We know that you die if you take a rat and deprive it of it, but we don't know what they die of. That's really strange. We know the longest you can stay awake is 11 days before you go into a coma, and we know that teenagers are the most sleep-deprived segment of the population. In fact, we know that young people need somewhere between 8.25 and 9.25, and generally about a quarter get about 6. So that explains why a lot of them are grumpy. Every night you go through a sleep cycle. This occurs for about 90 minutes, and you go through this 10 times. And the most important part of this sleep is stage 5, which is REM sleep. And that's the time when you actually remember the stuff you've learned at school. Sleep turns out to be the most important study tool going around. Want to help them sleep? Dim the lights in their environment an hour and a half before they go to bed. That will induce the secretion of the sleep chemical melatonin. We know that if they get into a regular rhythm, that will also help. We know that you cannot secrete that melatonin if you sleep in too warm a bed or it's too hot, which is why you don't sleep well on hot, sticky nights. We know that if they've got anxiety, a really good technique, and most adolescents do, is to grab a piece of paper, write on it before they go to bed, and actually have an emotional discharge onto a piece of paper. Works brilliantly. We know that they shouldn't obviously drink coffee, tea or fizzy drinks before they go to bed. And we know there are 3 drinks which will induce sleepiness. Most importantly, hot milk, followed by chamomile tea, followed by peppermint tea. And we know that we shouldn't sleep next to a digital clock because we've done experiments. And we know the digital clock won't wake you up, but just the lights themselves will actually stop you from going into the best stages of sleep. So turn the digital clock away from you before you go to bed. Challenge 3 is to make happy teenagers. The science of positive psychology tells us that we need to remind them every day to write down a list of things that they're grateful for and to count their blessings. To practice random acts of kindness. It's equated with much higher levels of happiness. We know too that they should stop and savour life's joy. So many young people, their life is like a DVD on fast forward. And most importantly, they need to thank mentors, because the more you thank a mentor, the happier you are. And you need to learn to forgive. So many young people basically harbour grudges. No one cares, certainly the person that you hate, if you hate them. Let go of that negative energy, terribly important. And invest time and energy, of course, in family and friends. The happiest people in the world, the science of positive psychology tells us, are the ones with the most friends. Basically, a rich repertoire of friends. We also know that they need to take care of their body and they should exercise on a regular basis and try and develop really positive self-talk, just an optimism about the way they are. The 4th challenge is the most important for parents, and that is to recognise the teenage brain is a work in progress. That little 9-year-old that you just saw, his brain will only be fully developed at 25 years of age, and if you're a girl at 23. The last part of your brain to develop is the frontal cortex, responsible for all of the things that you can see on the slide. In fact, all young people should come with a plastic sticker on their forehead saying, "Closed for reconstruction," just to remind the parents that they are a work in progress. And the most important thing, of course, is not to react to provocation, because from time to time, they do tell you to go forth and get multiplied. And the last challenge of all is to improve their school performance. The keys to VC success: study the same time and place each day. Lots of research shows that makes a huge difference. Chew gum while studying? Are you kidding? No. Here's the peer-reviewed article. I went to a school the other day. They had a thinking week. I was wondering what they were doing the rest of the time. The other thing that's important is to eat brain food, and we know what that is, mostly anything with glucose in it makes your brain happy. Sleep I've already talked about. And this, the most important thing of all, that music that was playing when you walked in. Psychologists have discovered this is the only piece of music on the planet which will actually reduce your blood pressure, slow your respirations and calm you down. Probably why they play it at funerals and weddings. And there's the proof, there's the study. Okay, what else? Most importantly, we've just made an amazing discovery. If you want your teenager's brain to grow even quicker, teach them how to juggle. At Oxford University, and I've just come back from there, they actually found that teaching people to juggle expands the white matter. There's two types of brain cells, grey and white. White's the connective stuff, absolutely crucial to healthy brain development. In fact, I think we should all have a juggle at least once a day. And most importantly, we have to make sure for VCE that they exercise regularly, but perhaps not at this gym. The other really interesting recent finding is the importance of getting a pet. We know that having a pet really helps if you've had a heart attack. We know that it gives you better immune functioning, ideally because you've been kissing it, and lower levels of obesity, and of course you get into a routine. But what we've just discovered is that if you actually have a pet and you're studying at the same time that you have a pet, it will lower your blood pressure. Remember, Clarence Darrow once said, the first half of your life is ruined by our parents and the second half by our children. It doesn't have to be that way. Thank you very much.
Riveting. Dr. Michael Carr-Gregg, thank you so much. I am chewing gum all the time from now on. I just had a baby. I'm throwing white balls at him this afternoon, definitely.